Hello everyone. I'm doing previous year questions from state public service commission. Okay, so it include lot of exams like UPPCS, MPPCS, Rajasthan PCS, Bihar PCS, etc. Okay, so we are doing Indian polity and governance, and the topic is the constitutional development of India. Okay, so this will be topic wise. So if you read, the polity by Lakshmikant, so there also they have started from the, the initial part, how our constitution made and all those this acts. Okay, so the constitutional development is nothing but they deal those portions. Okay, so I'm going to cover last 38 questions. Okay, so this is polity. So not only the polity I will do for history, geography, environment, science, economics, all. Okay, so anyway, we'll see today's questions. Okay, so the proposal for framing of the Constitution of India by an elected Constitutional Assembly was made by the Simon Commission, Government of India Act 1935, Crisp Commission, British Cabinet delegation. So they are asking about the proposal for framing the Constitution of India by an elected Constituent Assembly. So this is actually nothing but it is the Crisp Commission. Okay, if you have read the modern history, so there you can find this. So the proposal for framing the Constitution of India after the end of Second World War by an elected Constituent Assembly was made by the Crisp Commission 1942. Okay, so this is also modern history question. Next, the objective of Ilbert Bill in the reference to the colonial rule in India was. Okay, so Ilbert Bill, you have read this Ilbert Bill in history as well. So we'll see that. And one more thing, in this I have mentioned in the beginning, I will deal the public sector, state public sector examination, but not only the state public sector examination, but also the UPSC questions as well. Okay, so I have already separate video for this. So if you don't want to watch this state PSC questions, you can directly watch those videos where I have done the only IAS questions. Okay, anyway, to bring Indian and European at equal status for as penal jurisdiction of court was concerned, to put restriction on local press because they were considered anti to the colonial rule, to conduct administrative service exam in India, to encourage Indians to participate in it. Okay, to amend the Arms Act for the weapon permits to Indians. Okay, so if you have read little bit about Ilbert Bill, so you can easily answer this question. This is nothing but to bring Indians and European at the equal status for as the penal jurisdiction of court under concern was concerned. Okay, so the Ilbert Bill was introduced in 1883 for British India by Viceroy Ripon, who proposed an amendment to existing laws in the country at the time to allow Indian judges and magistrates the jurisdiction to try British offender in criminal cases at the district level, something which was not allowed at that time. Okay, so what happened in the Ilbert Bill was earlier, like suppose if the European has done some crime, so their hearing was done only by the European judge. But with this bill, what this Ripon, that time Viceroy was Ripon, so what he did, so Indian judges can also hear or can give judgment to European as well. So earlier this was not in the law, so that's why for the European this was the concern, like they were thinking like how Indian can punish them, okay, whether it is even if they are doing the crime. So this was the concern for the Europeans with this bill. So please remember about Ilbert bill. Next question. As per cabinet mission plan in the Constituent Assembly to decide allotted members seat in each provinces, one representative was in the ratio to which population? Okay, 8 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 12 lakhs, and 15 lakhs. So this is about the member which were in the Constituent Assembly. So each member were decided for how many populations. So this is actually based on 10 lakhs. Okay. The cabinet mission arrived in India in 1946. The mission proposed a plan for formation of a Constituent Assembly to frame a constitution for Indian Union. The representative of provinces were based on the population, roughly one representative over 10 lakh population. Okay. So the member who were in a Constituent Assembly, they were actually representing, one person was representing 10 lakhs population. Okay. Next question. Who among the following person was not a member of the cabinet mission? William Wood, okay, Lawrence, Crisp, Alexander. So this was actually William Wood was not the member of cabinet mission. The member of cabinet mission was Lawrence, Crisp, Alexander, and William Wood was not the member of cabinet mission. Okay, so these all three were the member of cabinet mission, but Wood was not the member. Next question. Indian Constitutional Assembly was established under Government of India Act 1935, Crisp Mission 1942, Cabinet Mission 1946, Indian Independence Act 1947. So this is actually, we have seen in the previous question, this was from the Cabinet Mission 1946. Okay, so the Constituent Assembly of India was constituted under Cabinet Mission 1946 on the basis of indirect election. Next, in the interim government formed in 1946, the Vice President of Executive Council was Jawaharlal Nehru, S. Radhakrishnan, C. Rajagopalachari, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. So this is nothing but when the interim government formed in 1946, the Vice President of Executive Council was Jawaharlal Nehru. So the answer is A. On 24th August 1946, interim government was announced on a condition that interim government would take charge latest by 2nd September 1946. Viceroy was the President of Executive Council, while the Jawaharlal Nehru was designated as Vice President of Executive Council. Okay, so the President was Viceroy and the Vice President was Jawaharlal Nehru. So the answer is A. Next question. Who of the following was not the member of interim national government formed in August 1946 AD? Okay, C. Rajagopalachari, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, Jagjeevan Ram. So this is actually C. Dr. S. Radhakrishnan. He was not the member of interim national government formed in August 1946. According to the Cabinet Mission declaration, an interim government was constituted on 2nd September 1946. Please remember this date. Okay, 2nd September 1946. From the newly elected Constituent Assembly, C. Rajagopalachari was the the Education Minister. Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Food Agriculture Minister, and Jagjeevan Ram was the Minister for Labour. However, the S. Radhakrishnan was not the member of interim government. Okay, so from here you can remember the Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Okay, C. Rajagopalachari was Education Minister, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the Food and Agriculture Minister, Jagjeevan Ram was the Minister of Labour. Dr. S. Radhakrishnan was not the member of interim government. Next question. Okay, this is assertion reason question. According to the Wavell plan, the number of Hindu and Muslim members in Executive Council was to be equal. Okay, Wavell thought that this arrangement would have avoided the partition of India. Okay, we'll see that. The first statement is actually true. According to the Wavell plan, the Hindu and Muslim member in Executive Council was equal. This is correct, but this is not correct. The Wavell thought that this will avoid the partition. Okay, so that there is nothing related to the partition. So the answer is C. We'll read here. Some explanation is given. In October 1943, Lord Wavell, who had succeeded Lord Ithlingo as a viceroy, made an attempt to resolve the deadlock in India. He went to England for consultation in March 1945. There he thoroughly discussed with British government about Indian administration and made some proposals. Okay, so there was again there was related to parties and all those things was going on that time. So he went to British and he tried to discuss. In June 1945, his proposal was made public by the name of Wavell Plan. He proposed restructuring of the Governor General Executive Council, which would have balanced the representation of main communities, including equal proportion of Muslims and Hindus. All the portfolios except defense were to be held by Indians, member including foreign department. Okay, the Wavell Plan proposed an equal representation of Hindu and Muslim in Executive Council. Apart from Viceroy and Commander-in-Chief, the Executive Council, all members were Indian. Okay. Thus, it is clear that Wavell Plan was intended to remove the deadlock on constitutional matter and political issues, and to promote the self-governance for Indian, but never intended to unite the Hindu-Muslim to avoid partition of India. Thus, okay, the reason is false. Okay, this he has not thought about, or he has not you can say not discuss or not thought about to avoid the partition. Okay, so just to balance the deadlock or just to avoid the deadlock, he tried to do that the equal representation of Hindus and Muslim in the Executive Council. Okay, so that's why the first assertion is correct, reason is wrong. Next, who gave the idea of Constituent Assembly? Firstly, for the formation of Constitution for India. Swaraj Party in 1934, Congress Party in 1936, Muslim League in 1942, all parties conference in 1946. So this was actually the Swaraj Party. Okay, in the 1934 itself, the Swaraj Party in its conference at Ranchi in May 1934 presented the policy of Constituent Assembly. It was to composed of Indian representative elected on the basis of adult suffrage. It was first occasion when Indian demanded for the Constituent Assembly. Okay, so this was nothing but is the Swaraj Party who firstly proposed the formation of Constituent Assembly to form Constitution of India. So the answer is A. Next question, I think the last question of today's video. Which of the following statement is true? Okay, in relation to Constituent Assembly. Okay, we'll read that. Assembly was based on adult suffrage. The assembly was a result of direct election. Assembly was a multi-party body. Assembly worked through various committee. Okay, so the correct, we have to choose the correct. See, the assembly was based on adult suffrage. No, that time there was no indirect election, there was no direct election. So the first is wrong. The assembly was direct election. No, this is also wrong. Okay, so the first and second is wrong. So this is wrong, this is wrong, and this is wrong. So the answer is C. This is yes. Assembly was a multi-party body, and assembly worked through a various committee. Yes, is also correct. The legislative assembly of the state were used as electoral college for the formation of Constituent Assembly. In this way, the Constitution Assembly was a result of indirect election. People of several parties were involved in it. Constituent Assembly formed a number of committee to operate its working. Okay, so if you have read that the formation of our constitution in the Constituent Assembly, so you will find that there were many committees were there for different to deal different things like fundamental right, drafting of the constitution, and DPSP. For everything there was the committee that they were discussing, they were voting, and they were finalizing the things which they need to put in the constitution. Okay.